Ready, set, art. Abstract rainbows. Abstract rainbows. What you'll need is some paper. I prefer cardstock or watercolor. If you want to use plain computer paper, that's fine. Just know that it's a little on the thin side, and therefore it has a tendency, when you add too much water to it, it can rip on you while you're brushing. So just kind of be aware of that. I demoed this to my younger daughter in 3rd grade, and so this one's her piece. And if you kind of see, there's a little kitty cat in the middle, and we'll talk about that pretty soon. But essentially, you're going to take crayons and put all these little line elements throughout the piece, then a rainbow, and then some other cool abstractions to go along with it. So here we go. How do we get started? All right, I'm going to put this over here. All right, so if you have just regular 8 colors, that's fine. If you're trying to think, how do I make other colors besides the 8 I have, I'll just kind of show a quick example. I understand that you would know how to mix, and that's good. But let me show you a few things. So let's say you just want different greens. So I'm going to take this green, and that's regular green. Or you have green, and you add a little blue, and now you have blue-green. You could take green, and I'm sure you're thinking about it. You're already like, oh, I bet she's going to add yellow. Well, yeah, I am. I'm going to add yellow, a little more than that, and you have yellow-green. But what if you want a really dark green? So you're going to take green, put that there, and yeah, you're going to use purple. And now you have like an evergreen. So those are 4 different greens using the colors yellow, blue, and purple to add to it. And that's kind of neat, because purple, when you add it to blue, it kind of does that, purple to red. Same thing with orange. When you add that opposite color, it can really darken it up for you. So that's a good way of mixing if you don't have this type of set. So I'm going to put this to the side, get myself all set up. And I'm also going to use crayons. You could use colored pencils. The reason you use crayon is because when you go to paint watercolor over, like you see in these parts, the wax in the crayon resists the watercolor, so you're able to see it, because all oil and water don't mix, right? So that's why I use crayon. If you use colored pencil, just know that you may have a hard time seeing the colored pencil underneath. So ideally, crayon is great. All right. So the first thing I want to do is create all these cool little elements of line. I'm going to go ahead and take one crayon. This one's blue. Doesn't matter which colors you use. Just pick the colors you like. And I'm going to do 4 rows of circles. In this one, Catherine put it in this corner. And the one I'm about to overlap in a moment, I put it in that corner. So you pick where you want it to be. Okay? So in this case, I guess I'll go right over here. And you go circle, 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 circle. So I'm going to do 4 rows of circles, and you're doing the same. Circle, circle, circle. And you could pick the part of the paper that you want it to be. Circle, circle. Almost done with my circles, and done with that. Pick a new color. This time I'm going to do dashed lines. And I think I'm going to go almost in the middle. Dashed lines. Dash, 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 dash. Another row. Dash, 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 dash. Can I offset it? Yes, I'll start here this time. Dash, 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 dash. Stop. Dash, 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 dash. Okay. New color. I think I'm going to do wiggly lines. And this time I'm going to go vertical. I'm going to go over here. You can pick, again, wherever you want to go. And if it even overlaps into the lines that you did, is that okay? Yep. Yep. Wiggly lines. Wiggly lines. Okay, so that one's good. Next one, should I pick a new color? How about this pink? Okay, how about zigzag? I'm going to go over to this corner now. Zigzag, 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 zigzag. I'm going to offset, zigzag, 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 stop. Zigzag, 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 offset, zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. Okay, I'm going to do one more. How about waves? Waves. I'm going to pick a new color. Waves. 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 You could have done loop-de-loops. See? Loop-de-loops work too. Alright, so now this is ready for the next step. So this is really a true abstract looking piece already. Watercolor wise, for doing the rainbow part, I like using a wider brush. If you have a smaller brush, just know it's going to be a little harder. Alright, so I'm going to take some water, and I think I'm going to start with red. Or you can start with pink, or you can start with blue. You're going to see in Google Classroom there's different examples. And I can start at one end, and I go like that. Now this color you can actually see, but what if you had too much water to begin with and you didn't really see it? Well, then you go back to your paintbrush and you keep lifting back and forth, and it lifts the pigment up and therefore making it more pigmented. Just like that. While it's still wet, I'm going to go to my next color. I'm going to go to yellow. And look, it's kind of bleeding in. You can see when I did that, I overlapped into part of that red. And it created that third color. All right. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a traditional rainbow color set. You can see my daughter changed it up. I think that's fine. You can change it up. Okay, so I'm going, oops, that was way too light. Lift that pigment. There we go. Maybe add a little purple streak, little line work. And I think I'll finish with blue. And you could add a few lines here and there. Sometimes I add little extras here and there. Now, you have to let that dry before you do the next part, okay? Could you sit here and let it kind of drip down so it kind of does a drip effect? Sure. Let that dry, and then you're ready for some overlapping of blocked colors. I will say the key for this project is to keep some areas white. What do I mean by that? If you look at this one, white, white, white. So you want to keep some areas lighter. So I want to show some quick blocking. I think right here, I'm going to do blue, like a sky blue, because why not? Although that sky blue looks a little dirty. I'll take my paper towel and clean it real quick. Oh, that's much better. Okay, and I just kind of go right over it. Right over it. See that? Just like that. And I know that it's kind of overlapping other stuff, but that's fine. And now I'm going to put dots of color in. Let's do another one. How about, I'm going to do this yellow. Yellow, yellow. Right? See, that's kind of the benefit of having the crayon underneath, right? So I'm kind of, what's neat is how you kind of streak right over certain parts, and that's neat too. The next thing I want to show is when you take a straw and you create this splattering effect. And it's a little different. I just need my straw. Here's my straw. Okay, so this time I have to create a puddle of color. A puddle of color. So I'm going to create this puddle here. What color do I want here? I'm probably going to go back to blue because, I don't know, why not? Why can't I do blue? Alright, so there's my puddle. You can see it's a big puddle. And I take my straw. Look at that! Kaplowy, right? Kaplowy. I love kaplowys. And then at some point, maybe you're like, gosh, I want to turn it around and do the same thing over here. Well, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So at some point, sometimes the color of your water gets really gross and you need to switch it out. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Switch out my water. And I just did that. Okay, new puddle. New puddle. I think, I don't want to do, I like orange. I don't think it will mix well with my blue there because it's still wet. So I think I'm going to go in with like a pink or hot pink. That's probably better. Okay, so I got to lift that pigment up. Right, there's my puddle. If you think it doesn't work out in some areas, take your paper towel and just lift out. See that? Just like that. And I'm going to leave that part alone. I'm going to go ahead and turn this piece around. And then at this point, I think it's best to let it dry just a little further before doing more, but it looks dry right here. And I think I'm going to add some extra little lines. When you put color on top of dried color, just like I did, it's called glazing. This area right here where it looked like it bled into each other is called wet into wet. Wet into wet. So like I said, I'm going to add a few little lines. Right? And I think I'll do the same with my evergreen here. Whee! Right? And could you add other shapes in? Why not? I think I'm going to take this color and add little heart rows. Can I overlap into other areas that I've already done? Yeah, why not? I don't see the big deal. Kind of makes it abstract, right? Maybe there's a fish flying through here, which is what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to stick to orange. I like that one. Okay, so I'm going to have little goldfish. You know these kind. Pink. I think I'll have another one right here. Yeah, so it's kind of like your version of a crazy abstract watercolor. I feel like I need something else right here. Sometimes it gets hard to start picking colors after a while. Maybe this color. Okay, and I think I'm just going to do waves. Right. Could you technically add a little boat right there? You could. I think I'm okay with that. Now, one area I think that looks like that's just okay is maybe this area right here. I don't know if that pink is standing out enough, so I'm going to add a little more pink. So maybe I'll just add a few dashed lines here and there to help it out. Little few dashed lines to help it out. Help out those dashed lines. Okay, that is pretty good. At this point, you kind of just check for contrast. Does it need some darker areas? Which in this case it kind of did right there. And then I'm going to add a little water and blend it up. This is where you as the artist, do I look back? Are there parts that need to be better? Maybe, maybe. So you just kind of go back in and maybe brighten up some areas. All right, that is your abstract watercolor, and I can't wait to see some cool ideas. Thank you and good luck.